Okay, guys. So today we're just gonna be talking about uh, the multiverse version of yourself. So imagine if there was like a a multiverse version of yourself. Like, what would you talk about? Like, for example, imagine if you had a multiverse version of yourself that's like a female version of the multiverse version of yourself. Like, what would you talk about? Like, like, would you would you do the thing with the female version of yourself, or you know would you act gay around her and stuff like that? But and what if you guys what if you met the multiverse version of yourself that was gay? Then uh would you do gay stuff together with the gay multiverse version of yourself? Or let's say, for example, um what if you met a multiverse version of yourself where you were a different ethnicity? Like, what would you do, but yeah, there's pretty much infinite possibilities. But yeah, if you know how infinity works, infinity is pretty much every possible thing that could possibly exist. Like, you would have every possible version of yourself existing, like that's literally the definition of infinity. Like, yeah, aside from like the female version of yourself, or the gay version of yourself, or like the version of yourself where you were a different ethnicity or whatever, there could be a version of yourself where you were a dinosaur, there could be a version of yourself where you were a dog or something, or there could be a multiverse version of yourself where you were a snake or something. Like, you were in the ocean and then you became a snail or something like that. But yeah, the possibilities are pretty much infinite. There would be a multiverse version of yourself where you became a rock or something like that. There would be a multiverse version of yourself where you were a bacteria. Like, that would be bacteria Austin. Yeah, the version of Austin that was a bacteria. Yeah, and then yeah, there's pretty much infinite possibilities. There would be a multiverse version of myself where I would be like a microphone, or but essentially I think that is pretty much how infinity works. It's like infinity is not zero. Like, infinity is the opposite of zero, yeah, pretty much. Infinity is the opposite of zero, because infinity is infinity. Infinity is pretty much every possible thing that could ever exist. Like, every possible thought, every possible combination of words, every possible what do you call this, every possible organization of a sand or something. But yeah, it is literally infinity. It's like Gojo. It's like it's like Satoru Gojo hit you with the infinite void, where you experience infinity, but you can't really experience infinity, it would be like Gojo doing that to you. But essentially, yeah, that would be infinity. Or let's say there was a multiverse version of yourself where you were an alien or something. Would you do the thing with the alien or something like that? The thing, yeah. But yeah, the possibilities are pretty much infinite, because that is literally what the definition of infinity means, And with all of these different versions of yourself, you could pretty much have infinite conversations with them, you know, because you would be talking to every infinite every infinite multiverse version of yourself, where you would just infinitely talk about infinite things, and you know, like every infinite possibility you could talk about them. And then there wouldn't be even be a concept of the self, because uh your your brain would be literally everywhere, you know. The concept of a self disappears with infinity. Yeah. So essentially your consciousness would be what do you call this? Your consciousness would be everywhere. You would lose a sense of self, essentially, because your brain would essentially be everywhere, you know. Like my brain right now is right here, but you know, when your brain goes infinite, or when your brain goes everywhere, yeah, then you pretty much lose a sense of self. I'm so high right now. Okay, but yeah, essentially, infinity is it's a pretty interesting topic. It's like the infinite possible number of the infinite possible combinations of numbers. You know, the infinite possible combinations of like organizations of like a thing. But yeah, infinity is a really interesting topic. Yeah. I'm running out of stuff to say. But yeah, today's topic, it's not really gonna be a serious topic. It's just gonna be the multiverse version of yourself, which is pretty much infinite. But yeah, I'm just really my brain stopped working. But yeah, but yeah, the possibilities are pretty much infinite. When you know, you get access to the infinite versions of yourselves. But yeah, I'm just in